That's fantastic. What about in terms of bowling right now? Was it Woke on yesterday, the day before, whatever it was, and he's struggling a little bit with injury. Woody, obviously. Where do you think we are in terms of fast bowlers right now?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. We've got guys coming back from injury as well.
Yeah.
I know Mark Wood's out for a little bit of time. Hopefully he'll be okay for the Ashes in the winter. Obviously Wokes is a big part of the team because of his experience and skill. His record in England's absolutely ridiculous.
Remarkable.
So he'd be a big miss if he's not fit. But you've got the likes of Josh Tong coming back. Gus Atkinson's had an amazing 6 months in Test cricket. So we have got guys around that squad that can fill the gap.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously when you go into an Ashes, I think in English conditions we'll probably be okay against India. But then you go to Australia and you need a battery of fast bowlers. You can't just go with 3 or 4 or 5. You need 6 or 7 guys in really good form and to compete with Australia, I think.
I remember watching, I love the Ashes and the rivalry between Australia. I remember watching the game at Lord's, and the England fans are giving the Australian fans a bit of stick. And I loved it personally, but it was not meant to be the greatest thing to do. But then I hear from players, ex-cricket players, that when you go to Australia, you get so much stick. What's the standout bit of stick that you've got from an Aussie? Can you say it on here?
Not really. I think that no, I definitely
we can dump it. We can dump it if it's a swear.
No, I'm not.
Is it relentless?
It's just relentless. It's not necessarily what they say. I mean, it's not particularly sort of creative or anything. It's just constant abuse.
Constant.
Especially at the MC. I played my first England game at the MCG when I was 20 years old, and the abuse, it was a real eye opener for me because I just played county cricket before that, and it was there's 300 people there eating cucumber sandwiches, so it's like really nice. And then you go to Australia and they're all on the lash and like just shouting at you constantly for 4 hours. So it's a real eye opener.
It's got to be, I would imagine, the greatest rivalry within cricket. I mean, I absolutely love it. I get back. I've enjoyed my cricket. I get back to Thompson and Lilly and all those boys. Go back to those days, boycott and everything. It's got to be the biggest rivalry, yeah.
Yeah, by miles. I think both teams will say the same. It's the biggest rivalry. I think because of the history.
Might sound an obvious thing to say when you're away from the cricket. I don't know, and I might be totally wrong. I've never been to Pakistan. I've never been to India, but I'm surmising that South Africa would be a far better place to tour. I can ask you that question. You mentioned South Africa as a touring place, but how do you handle, and it must be very, very difficult, and I know it's been well documented with some players in the past, being away for so long from your friends and family?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've just got used to. I've been fortunate that it's not really affected me. I know there's plenty of players that I've played with who've struggled being away from home for such a long time. Can be 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
Some of the guys who are currently in the IPL have been away since Christmas, or since the New Year, in the subcontinent. So it's a really can take its toll. But you just got to find ways of dealing with it. We're talking about retirement and the end of your career. It is actually a pretty short career. We're very lucky to be able to play a sport we love, a sport we're good at. So you just got to take what comes with it, and touring and being away from home is part of it.
Talking about coming to the end of your career, you're playing with a legend's son, of course, Lancashire, Rocky Flintoff. How difficult is it for Rocky? I mean, stating the obvious, the surname it can be a help, but I would imagine it can also be a hindrance.
Yeah, I guess it can. I think, I don't know how he'll cope with it, but so far he's done really well. He's his own person. He has sort of similarities to Fred, but he bats differently and bowls differently. He looks like a slightly different cricketer. His mannerisms are similar, but so I think he's just got to try and keep his head down and not listen to any comparisons. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. Corey as well, his other son's down at Kent as well at the minute. So the two lads are doing really well, and
great.
It's just about trying to keep their feet on the ground, work as hard as they can, as they're they're their own person, not trying to live up to what Fred was. Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, I've got millions of questions, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Well, no, don't even think about it. I'm getting shouted.
Just about the book.
There's somebody in my ear. I'm going to give it.
About the book. About the book.
I'm
about
gonna,
the book.
Go on, give him.
I want to ask you quickly, a quick one. How hard was it to write your second book, and to be honest about things that maybe you didn't want to put in the book? That can sometimes happen to people writing books.
Yeah, I was lucky. So Felix White, who I do a podcast called Tail Enders with him, he helped me write the book, or he wrote the book, and I.
Yeah, we know the drill. Jimmy, we know the drill.
Yeah. But he wanted to make it slightly different. So like you touched on the start of it. It starts with the end, basically waking up no longer a Test cricketer. So just trying to find a different way of writing about my career. And as I said before, I think it was really important to give everyone the big picture, like not just. You might think that just because I've finished with 700 Test wickets that I've been successful my whole life, and that's not been the case, and everything goes swimmingly, but it obviously doesn't. Like, we talked about earlier, stuff outside in personal life, it doesn't all go swimmingly. So I think it was important to just give the whole picture.
Totally.
Jimmy, brilliant, mate. Listen, continued success for the book. And continued success on the field, mate. You keep going as long as that body holds out. Listen, fantastic. It's over 700 Test wickets. Remarkable. We could go on and on. Really appreciate you taking the time to come in and see us, and the best of luck for the future, mate. Thank you very much.
Mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Anderson, fantastic.